you approve of the information provided. Notifications on you, be alerted every time something makes me mad and you get a new episode right away. Twitter, search bar Always Irish, or at Always Irish Inc. Audio. Anywhere you want me, you can get me. 312-900-8815 is the call in line. A couple notes. Note number one, I've been working on the audio. So let me know. I've been racking my brain for 2 days since the last show. Some people said the audio was fine. Other people said it sounded like I was calling on a tin can. Well, I've been trying. So let me know if it sounds better. I think I figured out the right settings with the mixer to make it clear. Okay. So let me know if that's working out for you. Here's something else we need to talk about. And I feel bad about this, and I don't know how to navigate it. I don't know how to navigate this. So I'm just gonna let you all know where I'm at with it. Navigating the call screener software is not the easiest and fairest thing to do. The only way I know how to navigate this is if there's a lot of people waiting to talk in the queue, I got to give each person less time to move it through faster and try and give everybody an opportunity. If there's not as many people in the queue, I could give the people that are in the queue a little longer time. That's how it's going to go. And so just be patient with it. But I really feel bad when there's people that want to talk, the show's over, can't do it all day. So usually a radio program has a content guy, an audio producer, mixer, and a call screener navigating all that. I'm trying to do the best I can. So I do feel bad. Anybody that wanted to be in didn't get in. So that's how we're going to do it the best we can. So let's get into this. All right. I'm feeling this anxiety, you guys. It's starting to creep into me week by week, day by day. Now that we're into game week, it's really starting to get to me. Every morning you wake up, there's a little more anxiety in your stomach, just a little more. How's this going to go? And I'm feeling that too. All right. So each day it ramps up more and more. Here's my question for Notre Dame people, though, right off the bat. Question for Notre Dame people. And I genuinely mean this. There is no sarcasm. I really want your opinion. I wonder if some percentage of the Notre Dame fan base has their excitement level muted a little bit because of the nature that it's Ohio State week one. Like I feel like there's some people emotionally protecting themselves, maybe anticipating big game, bad Brian Kelly results out of Ohio State. And I'm wondering if that's a part of it. Like, I feel like a little reluctance from some people in the Notre Dame base to go all in week one, maybe feeling a little of that anxiety about it being Ohio State and not wanting to build it up and then be let down, something like that. And I don't know whether that's just me projecting my own feelings or anxiety about it. I don't know, but I want to know where you guys are at with it. Irish trending. If Notre Dame barely loses to Ohio State, the media will clown both teams. Sadly, that's interesting. How much clowning could there be? It's like they're two top 5 teams. So if Notre Dame played Ohio State close and lost, the story should be Ohio State proved they're a number 2 team in the country. And, oh, by the way, Notre Dame proved that they're not dropping off and falling off a cliff because the new guy who's under 40s there doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So the media is going to do what they're going to do. Fan bases are going to do what they're going to do. The other thing that's going to happen here, this is the other one. This is coming, Notre Dame folks. Mr. Adamiola up in the chats. I appreciate that. What I was going to say is, if Notre Dame wins this ball game, like shocks the world, 17.5 point spread, not worried about it, goes in there, finds a way to navigate and win this ball game, damn well the media is going to turn that into, what's wrong with Ohio State? You know, they were supposed to be the number 2 team in the land, and Notre Dame's got this new coach. It's even if Notre Dame pulls this off, it's going to end up being what's wrong with Ohio State instead of people saying, wow, look at what Marcus Freeman did. That's just the way it is. I like seeing Clemson folks in here. Jump on in. Huffer Billy Paw, I'm sure you're probably friends with Pigskin Pete. Love him. Great friend. Helped me a lot with YouTube, all that. Great guy. Love joining him on his show. So I don't know how the media is going to play this out. It's obvious that point spread keeps going up, and I'm a little surprised by that. A little. Is anybody else to see it keep creeping up? And you know what else, too? Is some of this just public perception that Notre Dame's not going to be able to win a big game, and everybody's used to those Brian Kelly type results. So now they're just figuring this is going to be a carryover from that, and that's why they have that point spread going. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. So, but today, some of the things I want to know from some of you guys would be, if Notre Dame's going to win, what does that path look like to you? Like practically, if Notre Dame's going to pull this off, what does it look like? What is that roadmap, in your opinion, for Notre Dame to get the win? I want to know in that dynamic, who needs to step up, in your opinion, to get this win? Pull it off. Hostile road environment, Marcus's first game, all of those factors that we know are working against Notre Dame that are going to be increased challenges. So I want to know from you guys, what's the roadmap? What does it look like? Who needs to step up the most? And then here's another question too. What do you expect to see specifically from Marcus Freeman game 1, week 1, year 1? That's a big question to me. What do you want to be able to see that you could judge from him right away? Organization, you know, running out there looking like everything's under control. It isn't like confusion. Are there things in the game you're looking for that will give you comfort? Managing the last 2 minutes of that clock in the first half. Are you even looking at Marcus, what he's doing out there? Meaning, who's he going to talk to, or is he more laid back? I'm even looking at things like, these things interest me. I feel like in the bowl game, Marcus was pretty muted, just kind of taking it all in, not too emotional, just kind of checking it all out. I'm interested to see what the sideline demeanor is. I mean, you went through the full range of the Kelly ones: purple face, BK homeboy, detached CEO. We went through all of those and how they manifest on the sidelines. I'm very interested to see how Marcus Freeman navigates that. Is he intense? Does he try and control that emotion? I know these things are weird, but when you have a new coach in his first game and it's a huge one, these are fair things to look at. Like, you're not going to sit there and want to analyze how Kelly acts on the sidelines in a Notre Dame game. We've been there. We've done that. There's nothing to learn. He's just weird. On this one, I really want to know. I want to know how it's going to look different. I want to know that personality Marcus is going to let show out there. Let's see. Savage Dog. Morning, everyone. Ohio State sucks. All right. I hope that we can make that verifiable in a couple days. All right, let's see here. Couple opinions. Roadmap, simplistically, it's going to involve estimate, pounding the rock, and eating up clock, score touchdowns instead of field goals, keep OSU's offense off the field. That's got to be the roadmap, right? Like that's one of the main roadmaps to me. It makes perfectly logical sense. Notre Dame's going to have to be able to run the ball, or they don't have a chance in this game. I'm not saying you need to run it for 275, 300 on them. I'm not saying that. But Notre Dame's going to have to be able to respectfully run the ball a decent amount for this to even be a game. And that's just my opinion. You might see it differently, but I think we need that at a minimum. We have somebody who does not care, doesn't care about Freeman's demeanor. I care that ND doesn't take a step back. T-Rex, what if I told you the head coach's demeanor might have a say in us taking a step forward or a step back? Like that's where I differ with T-Rex here on not worrying about the guy's demeanor. I would argue Brian Kelly's demeanor is a reason we no-showed at the big house with the playoff on the line. No-showed at Miami and got clowned. I'm not saying it's just because of the head coach's demeanor. The team has a lot to say with it. But everybody always says eventually a team ends up taking over the personality of the head coach. And I wonder how much of that was in play with Brian Kelly. So on Freeman's demeanor, it isn't so much where he's walking or standing on the sideline, but just more the feel of how it's all going. I guess maybe that's a better way to put it. We got a couple calls. 215. What is that? Philly? 215. 215, you're on the line.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Good, man. Where are you? Philly? Is that about right?
Philadelphia, yes, sir.
Beautiful. What's on your mind, my friend? Good morning.
The home of the Eagles. Well, first, I want to congratulate you on the show. There are very few live sports shows I would listen to nowadays, and this being a 2-hour show, I actually listened to. I wasn't able to listen to yesterday, but I listened to yesterday late. I actually stayed up late to get the full 2 hours, and I could be caught up today. But no, I definitely like the show. I want to tell you this: a couple different things I want to say. First and foremost, I was one of the lucky people. I'm 48 years old, so I was able to live through the glory years of Notre Dame. Of course, glory years goes back to the days of Lockney, Leahy, Parseghian, and even Devine, I think, got a title. But I remember '86 when Lou Holtz went 5-6. Now he went 5-6, but if you do a deep dive on that, they lost to Penn State by like 5 points, the eventual national champion. They lost to Alabama by double digits, but they had a close loss, I believe, to Michigan and Michigan State. So my point being, you could tell that there was something special. And, of course, the John Carney field goal kick that CBS clicked away from the Coliseum because they were probably throwing shade. Notre Dame wins, and they couldn't foresee it. But when they beat USC to get the streak started against them, you knew as a Notre Dame fan, I was 13 years old, but you knew that you were on to something special, And I'm looking for Marcus Freeman. What I'm looking for in this game, I can't give you a prediction. I'm nervous kind of like you are, but I also am more confident knowing that we seem to have a competent coaching staff because we've always said it all along. These idiot analysts at ESPN and other places that, they do the lazy team speed thing and all the other nonsense. And we've seen players come in the program that are blessed, including this linebacking core, which to me is going to be the best that we've had since LaRon Cobbins, Kenan Tatum, and so on in the mid-'90s. Of course, we had Jalen Smith, but he played under Van Gorder. I think that this team is being underestimated greatly, particularly defensively. There's still a wild card offensively, but I think if Buckner can just be poised, and I'm going to give you another year, John, 1993. That was a year when we came off, remember they went into Michigan with Kevin McDougal and the late Keith Jackson, who was an avid Notre Dame hater. He called the game, and they were all shocked because Notre Dame, they dominated offensively and defensively along the line. That's what I want to see Notre Dame teams get back to. Defense, offense, domination, physicality. And I don't want you to lose, but if you do lose, at least show that you're ascending. I want to see Marcus Freeman's sideline demeanor like you do. Because remember, we haven't had a guy since Lou Holtz, that had a presence where Lou Holtz just made you believe. Lou Holtz made you believe that the skies could open up and rain, even on a sunny day. We need that with Freeman. And I think Freeman gets Notre Dame, and that's a huge step. What do you think?
I agree with you. And I just think it's the Ohio State part of this makes it so interesting because you're trying to watch multiple things at the same time in one of the most tough environments to be able to neutrally look at what's in front of you. Meaning, there's almost two paths here with Freeman. One is looking at the big picture, knowing the roster flipping he's trying to do and the recruiting and what's coming and building the staff and all that, like longer term projects. And then you have the short term of what are we going to do in 3 days? It's kind of a big deal. And it's very hard for me to, as a fan, emotionally separate those two paths, to know that the Marcus Freeman we're seeing in a few days isn't the finished product of what the Freeman era is going to be. Even if it ends up being good,
Absolutely.
it's going to get better, So I'm having trouble, emotionally and mentally separating those tracks we're going down at the exact same time. Does that all make sense?
You know why, John? Do you know why I think? And tell me if I'm right. We have PTSD as Notre Dame fans because even though we've been treated to 10-win seasons, this is the thing people need to understand about Notre Dame. Lou Holtz, and I know everything about Notre Dame football going from mid 80s all the way up to now. I mean, I don't remember everything. I remember most of the losses. I remember most of the victories. But I remember scores going back to the mid 80s. I'm like Rain Man when it comes to the scores. But that's part of the thing of being a diehard fan. But what I will tell you is this, is with Kelly, he was lucky to have a down USC team. Now, don't get me wrong. We can always say that USC was lucky to have a down Notre Dame team with Tyrone Willingham, who just and Bob Davie, who refused to recruit and coach. Bob Davie actually was an excellent defensive coordinator, horrendous head coach, and poor clock management. But what I will say is, I just think that if Freeman can. If we can get back to like just playing that tough, hard-nosed Notre Dame football that we all expect, like the team that went in and beat Florida in the Sugar Bowl when Lou Holtz took over the defense, when it was either Darnell, I think it was Darnell they fired. I want to see that kind of physicality. I want the type of anticipation that we have, like when we had Notre Dame, Miami, 88, Notre Dame, Florida State, 93, Notre Dame whenever they played anyone on the road. Because remember, I go back even further because I know you were young, you said. Being 48, I remember when Notre Dame would go on the road into a hostile environment like Knoxville and going and beat Tennessee with the Rocket. I remember they went into Penn State in 89 and curb stomped them at Penn State. So I want them – I'm not saying they're going to do that right now, like you said. I think it's still it's still a work in progress. But people have to understand, because somebody on your show said yesterday you have to give Marcus Freeman 2 to 3 years. This team doesn't need 2 to 3 years talent-wise. And nowadays, they don't give coaches 2 to 3 years at a program. Well, Notre Dame, they actually give them, in some cases, they gave, Brian Kelly an extension after disastrous 2016. But I think Notre Dame is building a really good core. And I think a lot of people are going to be impressed watching them this Saturday.
Yep, it's going to be interesting. And the thing is, the good thing is, you're going to know right away exactly where you stand right away. Like you are going to learn, you're going to learn right away in this season whether the way Freeman structured this camp was the right way. Physically, like whether was it too physical or not physical enough, you're going to find out. Was the vibe right? Was the message right? I think you're going to find those kind of things out right away. But the where I struggle is, here's where I struggle though. Let's say we do all that and it's all in place and the game's still a struggle because Ohio State's good and some of this is still in flux because this roster is not a ready-made elite proven roster. That part is going to take time. There's a ton of good pieces. The cupboard's not bare. Notre Dame's a really, really strong program, but they're not in that elite level yet, in my opinion. And that takes time.
No, I agree with you. But you know what, John? One thing that I want to see if Freeman can do, and this is what Holtz was able to do. Remember, he took some of our defensive guys, Volcar, different people, and I don't remember all the exact players, but he converted players. He got Pat Eilers, the Yale transfer. You're able to get players, flip them, and move them around and make them and get you just your best athletes on the field. And I think Freeman gets that point. And it's funny. I remember when they played Ohio State 95, 96. Now, 95, they got shredded. They had a lead, I believe, at the half. We had Norwood, Ohio's own Mark Edwards, who was the fullback. I don't know if you remember him, but Mark Edwards, of course, they had Randy Kinder and company. But some people forget. Remember, Randy Moss was a commit, and one of the things that affected Holtz was he had to adjust to a pocket-style quarterback. But Palace had the clavicle issue, and that coupled with the fact that they had to turn down Randy Moss, who wanted to go to Notre Dame. Can you imagine what a difference Randy Moss would have made in 95, 96 when they played Ohio State? Remember, Ohio State was always good. I mean, John Cooper just couldn't beat Michigan. But they had Randy Moss and another guy that wanted to play for them. People forget it was Allen Iverson, who was actually an all-world quarterback, not just a basketball player. Can you imagine what he would have done with Allen Iverson running the option?
That's wild. That's wild to think about. So let's bring this back to Ohio State. Given everything that we've talked about and all the moving pieces and unknowns, what would be your most likely scenario outcome in your honest opinion?
Okay, my honest opinion, and I'm kind of going two ways here. I'm all over the place. I have those butterflies, but I'll say this real quickly. The butterflies are kind of a good feeling. You know why? Because the butterflies are kind of a feeling of anticipation because we know that we're eventually going to be on the cusp of greatness. With that being said, if Notre Dame plays the way I think they're capable of playing and holding that, I mean, Ohio State's going to score their points.
Yep.
I can see them, if they keep it close, I can see them, even if they lose, maybe losing by, if they lose, I'm going to give you two scenarios. I can see them losing by maybe a touchdown in maybe the final few minutes, but I can also see them also winning and I think, I'm telling you, my gut instinct tells me Notre Dame's defensive line is going to smack Stroud around after a while. If they get that penetration right up the middle, and Riley Mills has to be, and I'm hoping Liafu, I didn't know if he was in a walking thing a while ago, but I'm hoping Liafu, because he's the next level defender we need for that pass rush, because I still remember what he did to Sam Howell against North Carolina. If we can have Liafu and the whole defensive line actively engaged the way I know that they're going to be, Stroud does not like to get hit, and you go right up the middle and get him. I think he's a California kid, but I think he shows. I mean, no quarterbacks like to get it, but he's a little soft if you get to him. And I think the defensive line is going to actually be the difference in keeping this game close and giving them a good chance to win.
I'm telling you,
I can't give you a prediction because I'm just not sure.
I like your Liafu call, though. I called that out right away. He got hurt in summer camp last year, missed the entire year. It was a huge loss. It was a huge loss to that defense. He brings physicality.
They missed him in the bowl game.
Yeah, that he is underrated, and we're going to love seeing him out. And his energy, for somebody like me who runs hot, his energy appeals to me. So personality-wise, I love that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This kid plays with reckless abandon. He was all over Howell, even in the fact that he didn't directly make the tackle. He affected the outcome of a lot of those attacks on Howell. He was a terror.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's a junior, I believe. So,
can't wait to have him back. And the other thing is, I like that hair. I like seeing that hair waving when you're wreaking havoc. I love his whole vibe. I'm down with all of it. I love it all.
Absolutely.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
well,
I'm pumped on
I really appreciate the call, man. You have a good morning in Philly. Call back. We'll be back Friday and Saturday. Hit me up on game day morning. Let me know what you're feeling that morning.
You got it. I'm definitely going to call you after they play backup college, because that's another school I hate on the schedule. I'll never forgive them for the 41-yard field goal kick in '93. And that's one only good thing Kelly did was beat that school.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, and now you saw Phil's mad at Notre Dame. Did you see Phil's comments? So that game's going to be interesting because Phil doesn't like Notre Dame. He had some choice words for Mr. Kelly.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? They squandered Phil Jurgovich. They ruined my career. He ruined Dane Chris' career. In my opinion as well. Ryan Kelly is horrendous in terms of, he's not a guy like Saban that yells for effect where it has a good, cause and effect. He just yells because he puts the blame on everyone. This guy acts like he's Newt Rockney. This guy coached at Grand Valley State, whatever, 10, 15, 20
I'm just glad it's not my
good.
problem anymore. I'm just glad it's not my problem. So whatever. Oh, thanks for the call, my friend. Good call. Give me a call again.
You got it. Thanks.
Have a good one.
You too.
We got some energy in the morning here, folks. Okay, we got a couple super chats here. Then we get back to the calls. We got some people lined up with some thoughts. John, do you think this game could be like 2012 Oklahoma? I can't be the only one. Here's the reason that 2012 Oklahoma game stands out to me. It stands out to me as probably the pinnacle of the Brian Kelly era. Like up until the Clemson, the COVID Clemson game where Lawrence was out and we won, which I do put an asterisk on that because I'm not going to act like they were their full team without the quarterback, who's the best quarterback in the league. But taking that game out at Oklahoma is probably Brian Kelly's best big win. And the other thing about it is He's had some other good wins, but a lot of them were at home. Going to Oklahoma at night in 2012 was a big deal to be able to win that ball game. The difference between the way I see this game setting up and that game setting up is Notre Dame had that great defense in 2012, allowed, I think, like 9.8 points a game, under 10 points a game they averaged the whole year that year. They were able to hold Oklahoma's offense down for most of that game. I just don't know if you're going to be able to hold all those points off the board against Ohio State is my concern. So seeing Notre Dame jump out to an early lead like they did with the Big Sierra would run 50, 60 yards right up the heart. Obviously, that'd be beautiful. And if you notice something, follow me here. The big win against Michigan, I think it was 2018. Notre Dame scores early, builds that momentum. Oklahoma, Notre Dame scores early, builds that momentum. Clemson, the big run down the sideline, score early, build that momentum. A big part of this game to me has to do with how Notre Dame starts. You definitely can't start in a bad spot against this team and get down, then you're screwed. You need to come out ready. We had another super chat here. Where is it? Where is it? Huffer Billy, thank you very much. That's beautiful. $9.99 to all ND fans. Good luck and stay undefeated till we meet in November. I have something nice planned for that as well. I am going to be at that ball game. Anybody coming into town, Clemson people, you want to know what to see, what to do, let me know. Happy to help. Okay, back to the call-in line. We're going, I think this is local to South Bend, 574. Brandon, is this you?
It is, sir. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Good morning. How are you doing, sir?
Just getting pretty excited for this game. A little nervous, but my energy is getting ramped up, ready for Saturday.
Now, wait a second. Are you going to the game? Did I hear that?
I will be at the game.
How do you expect that to go? I don't think I would enjoy it there. I honestly don't. I don't think they would want me there. I don't think I would want to be there. I appreciate your willingness to go on this adventure. How's it going to go down?
That's what I'm still trying to figure out. I've been talking to a few Ohio State fans on Twitter, and they make it sound like it's not as bad as what I've been hearing. But I don't know. I've heard a few different stories of other opposing fans have been there, and it seems like those Ohio State fans are pretty nasty. And I don't know. I am a little bit nervous to see how the environment is and how hostile it is towards us as Notre Dame fans. But I don't know. Especially if we win, I don't know. It's gonna be scary getting out of there.
If we win, you might not even care what happens to you getting out of there at that point.
That is true.
You know what I mean? You'll be so happy. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
So Brandon, what do you make of this ball game? Like where are you at with it in your mind versus in your heart? Where does that leave you when you overlap those two things and intertwine them?
I go back and forth in the hour. It's always changing, but in my mind, I think we definitely give them a good shot, and I say we end up losing by 7-10. In my heart, I think we can go in there and smack them around like Oregon did last year, and use Audric to just take over some of their defense that is not very good. And I think we can just surprise the world and shut up people like Paul Feinbaum, and I would love to see what he has to say after his comments the past few weeks about us. So
it would probably be, Ohio State's overrated and Ryan Day's on the hot seat. They expect more at Ohio State. That's probably what it would turn into.
Yeah, it'll definitely be some excuses.
Now let me ask this, Brandon, let me ask you this. Now, if Notre Dame wins, obviously it's off to the races. The Freeman era is ahead of schedule. Like that's the easy path, because then you're on an accelerated track there towards, breaking into elite. But let me ask this. Let's say Notre Dame plays pretty decent. It's a close game, late third quarter. Ohio State ends up winning by 10 or 14 points. How do you feel at that point? Are you mad? Are you sad? Are you frustrated with Brian Kelly for leaving the roster not great in certain places? Did you expect Freeman to come in there right away and make the guys play better than they are and be close in that and win? Like, where are you going to be if it's a loss, but it's competitive? Where does that leave you as a fan?
I guess it would come down to how the game really goes. If it's 7 to 10 points, I would definitely be disappointed because I'm expecting us to go in there and win, but that's just me as a Notre Dame fan is cocky and think we can beat anybody. But if we do lose, I'll definitely be disappointed. But as long as it's not more than 10 to 14 points, I hate to say it, but I'll be happy, and it'll be a hate moral victories. But with everyone picking Ohio State to win the national championship this year, if we can make it a good game and show that we are definitely improving and not, like you said, the Michigan and Miami games and embarrass ourselves, then I'll have a positive attitude, but definitely disappointed.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. And the other thing with that is, you know, you're talking about, here's how I look at this. A moral victory nobody likes, and especially under the scar tissue left from the Brian Kelly era, a lot of times all you were left with was moral victories, and a lot of times not even that. Some of them were immoral victories, but it's different if Brian Kelly in year 13 loses to Ohio State by 10 or 14 than the new guy under 40 with new everything trying to learn this all who does it. The result's the same, but what it means to the program is not the same if Brian Kelly loses this game and Marcus Freeman. Does that make sense, or am I excuse making carrying water for Marcus?
No, that definitely makes sense, especially with how he is on the recruiting trail and just the energy he's bringing. I think it's definitely a different loss.
Like there's a light at the end of the tunnel that simply didn't exist under Brian Kelly. And so the result could be the same, but the way I feel about it and process it may be totally different. Just because of the things you were talking about. So there's just a lot of new emotions in the big game day mix now for Notre Dame fans. Like, the new coach part of this is a huge deal. The new quarterback part, like there's so much new, and just the actual gameplay. There's a lot to keep your eyes out for this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth. If we're like, obviously we all have a lot of respect for Freeman and expect him to do well, but it is basically first game. So are we putting too much pressure and expecting him to go out there and win, or?
Yep.
I don't know.
And these are all the things that, as the days are coming off the calendar, that I've been thinking about and sitting there racking my brain over. And a lot of this is a little uncomfortable. I think there's so many unknowns that it's like almost uncomfortable. Even under Kelly, the knowns that I knew I didn't like were at least knowns. There's a little anxiety that comes with unknowns here, no matter what.
I definitely don't hope this happens, but if we do go out there and get blown out, lose by more than 20, are we all going to turn on Freeman all of a sudden, or are we just going to let things develop over the next year? And
you know, hey, listen, Brandon, I know how active you are on Twitter. You know damn well how that's going to go. It's going to turn into, John, you said this was your guy, and now he can't do anything, and he can run his mouth, and he's a good recruiter, but look at the results on the field. It's the same as the Kelly era. You know those overreactions are coming, and you know they're coming not only if Notre Dame loses, but if Ohio State gets a first down, those are going to start coming. You know that.
Yeah, that is very true.
That's exactly what it's going to be. We run in the same Twitter circles. You know damn well half this fan base is going to turn on him the first time Ohio State scores. John, he's over his head. He's never going to learn.
But as far as the game, we can control the line, like you said, get the Stroud early and make them feel it and know that we're bringing the pressure. I think we'll definitely be hanging with them the whole game, and I honestly feel like we can pull this win out.
There you go. That's the idea. Brandon, you have a good day. Stay safe out there. And then I'll be in for Cal and Stanford and Clemson. So I'll get with you guys and we'll get a group together and do something.
All right. Sounds good, man. Can't wait to see you again.
Beautiful. Have a good day. Take care.
You too.
Oh, we got the South Bend contingent out today. What do we have here? Ooh, here's one Notre Dame fans aren't going to like early in the morning. Ohio State's going to lock down our run game and spy Buckner, force him to sit in the pocket to prove his accuracy and decision-making has improved. Patrick, that's exactly what I would do. If I'm Ohio State, the first thing I do is I'm stopping the run no matter what, because that's just the kind of old school football guy I am. I'm stopping that damn run, and I'm going to make the new quarterback try and beat me at our place at night with 90,000, 100,000 drunk yelling people. Also a new defense. If I was Jim Knowles, you know what I'm doing? I'm confusing the hell out of Buckner. I'm disguising coverages. I'm disguising blitzes. I'm going to make them think guys are coming and they're not, and they're going to go back. And then the next time I'm going to do something different. I'm going balls to the wall to confuse Buckner. That would be my plan. Stop the run and make him make plays. Make him make plays. If I'm Ohio State, I am thinking if I make him make plays, eventually he's going to throw me the damn ball. That's what I would be thinking. So if I'm them, I stop the run first and I dare Buckner to try and beat me with his arm. I dare him to. That's what I do if I'm them. You add into that the iffy wide receiver situation, and it makes all the more sense in the world. I would sell out, stop the run, and then dare Notre Dame to beat me anywhere else with an unproven quarterback, a risky wide receiver group. If I'm being nice, risky. That's how I would do it. So I think that's a good plan. And you would be an idiot if you don't spy Buckner, because you know his legs are his greatest proven asset. I said proven. Not only, but his only proven thing that he does great. I need to see more accuracy, and I need to see guys get open. Back to the phone lines. We got a 219. That could be Illinois. That could be Gary across the border. 219. Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, John. How are you?
How are you, man? Who is this? Pete, have you called before? Sounds familiar. The number looks familiar.
Yes, sir, I have. I've called you once, and I actually recently, I don't know if you got it, emailed you about the weekend of the Cal game with the whole Heroes activities going on.
I think Cal, I'll be at the Irish Players Club has a tailgate that day too. So I know I'm going to be around for that. We should meet up. Come over there. I'll come where you're at.
Okay. Where are you at? Where are you going to be that day? Because I'd like to be able to meet you face to face.
I think they're going to have that Irish Players Club tailgate somewhere on campus. It was like for Blue and Gold game. It was right behind Touchdown Jesus, but it'll be kind of blocked off. If you want to come by, I'll just reserve you a pass because I got a bunch. And anybody who wants to come and do that, I'll just give you one of the passes. You could come in, have a couple beers, hang out.
Okay. Because, yeah, I'm going to a whole Heroes brunch till about 11:30 that day. So after that, would that be okay to come by after that then?
Beautiful. I got your number down. I'll text you when the show's over so then we could set that up because I do have a bunch of passes and I'll be over there. It's a good meeting spot. So I'll text you. We'll get it going.
That sounds great.
So what do you make of all this? Where's your emotions at? Where's your mind at entering this game? What are you going through this week in your mind?
A lot of ups and downs. I mean, first of all, no doubt you'll agree on this. If Kelly was coaching this game, we knew we would know for sure we're not going to win. Yeah,
that game would be over before it started, just like Michigan 19, Miami 17, and any playoff game. Over before it starts.
Well, and interrelated to what you're saying, I don't think it's supposed to rain, but it's supposed to be cloudy. And if it were to rain, we know we're even more in trouble with Kelly.
Throw it in the hurricane 50 times.
Oh, of course. My emotions have been going back and forth. I think with Buckner this year, it'll be better because he's been exposed to the playbook a lot. full playbook more already than what he was all of last year. The offensive line is going to be night and day different with Harry Heastan because the offensive line was brutal to start the year last year. And our not-so-good friend Harbaugh was able to run on Ohio State, so hopefully we can. But those big play receivers of Ohio State and in that raucous environment scare me some. I got to, unfortunately, be honest on that.
Yeah.
Question for you, John. If we win the toss, do you take the ball or do you defer?
I'm deferring. I'm just a defer guy. Here's maybe some of this is overconfidence in my teams, but here's my thought. I figure most teams, maybe not the elite of the elite, okay, the top 3 or 4 teams, whatever. I feel like you can defer, kick that ball off. Most offenses are a little vanilla when they have their initial scripted plays, that drive, ease into the game, ease your quarterback in. I always like the idea of deferring. You kick it off, get off the field, get a quick 3 and out, get the ball back. Then you didn't lose anything by not getting the ball first. And then you could double dip the end of the half and you have that, you're going to get a chance to set up a good drive the second half right away. If you either need points or want to gain more points if you have a lead. So I've always went with that mentality of I'd rather get it out of the way, giving them the ball first early before everybody's kind of lathered up. I also think it's easier to get your defense into a game than it is your offense. I just think it's easier to maybe get into the flow of a game on defense, hitting instead of maybe doing all the offensive stuff, but that could just be me. What do you think about it?
I would rather defer, and I'll even go another step too, being that this is with Tyler Buchner. I don't know if he didn't start a game last year. I don't think
so either.
Okay, with it being his first start, I think it's better to let some flow of the game happen first rather than having to put him out there right after.
Especially on the road at their place. Do you know how loud that's going to be? And you want to drop Buchner in there and go, oh, good luck, buddy. Like, no, let that initial excitement be when they have the ball. That's my thought.
Absolutely. And this is going to be a big chance for him to show how good of a passer he is because kind of like you were saying in the prior call, you figure they're going to stack the line against us some.
Yep, that's what I would do. I mean, I'm not looking at like a full sellout stack, but just enough to where they know it's going to be in our favor if this kid has to throw the ball around for all the reasons that we all know. So that's the plan. Can Notre Dame run a couple of two tight end sets out there and run it anyways? Or pivot off of that? How does Notre Dame adjust to that adjustment? Like with the new staff, like these are all really interesting questions.
Yeah, because you figure we're going to have some one-on-one matchups, single coverage to go for.
Yep, for sure, because the way they're going to want to set up their defense is going to lend to that. But I think they're confident enough in their outside defense and confident enough that our wide receiver core isn't great. There are going to be plays to be made out there. Can Buchner get it to the guys? Can they get open? Can they make the plays? There is going to be opportunity there on the outside. Can it all line up and they make it happen? We wait and see.
Well, and added to that, if they double Michael Mayer too, on top of that, then there will be opportunities for a guy like Tobias Merriweather to make an impact in his first game.
Yep.
As an example.
He's going to have a great opportunity. That's a young guy that they might need. It isn't even going to be a luxury. You might need that guy to contribute early. And let me ask you this. You were talking about Buchner, and maybe this applies to a guy like Merriweather. I just did it backwards. Merriweather. Let me ask this. In some ways, going into this environment, as hostile as it's going to be, it crossed my mind. It may actually be in Notre Dame's favor to have some of these young guys in key roles to where they just go out there and react. And the moment isn't too big for them because they haven't been around enough to realize maybe exactly just how big this moment is. And in some circumstances, that can actually play in your favor where you just ball out. I see that in golf all the time, where a young guy wins a Ryder Cup match or a major, and they're almost too young to get the gravity of the moment. So all they do is just play, and it ends up clearing their mind and it ends up working out. I could see that. And then here's something personal. And at the Blue and Gold game, I got a chance to meet Buckner after the game and talk to him for a couple minutes. That dude is California Joe Cool calm. Like, this guy is calm. He just has a presence that is so different than me. Like, his presence just came off as level, not too high, not too low, stable. Where somebody like me, I ride all the highs and lows of every day and everything emotionally and out there. I don't think he's going to get rattled. He may not play great. He may not win the game in the Heisman in this, but I don't think the moment's going to be too big for him. I think he's built for this. Can it all work, though?
Yeah. Well, one guy who I think also in one-on-one coverage could maybe have a big game for us too, Braden Lindsay.
Hey, he just needs to be healthy to be really effective. The frustration with Lindsay for years has been when he's totally healthy, he could take that top off. He's one of those guys, you could do the end around, you could get him behind a defense and all that. The issue's been he hasn't been healthy enough for me to be able to rely on that with any consistency whatsoever. So is he going to be 100% where he can go out there and get past the defense or at least be a decoy threat? I would love to see more out of him, but he just hasn't been healthy enough.
We got to find that out this Saturday.
I guess.
Well, go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Let me flip this. Let's flip this to defense. If you're looking at this from Al Golden's chair, how do you try and slow down their offense?
At first, I think, like Marcus Freeman said, we have to stop the run, but I think you have to keep extra in your secondary with their good receivers, at least at first, and see if your front four and your linebackers for what you have are good enough to stop the run. Because, unfortunately, in these environments and big games, what scares me is falling behind multiple scores early.
Yeah, then you're dead, especially in that environment. You're dead then. Notre Dame cannot afford that kind of Brian Kelly-ish start.
Yeah, like you said, the game in Ann Arbor a few years back was over before the ball was even kicked off.
Yep.
And the we know his history in the bowl games and in the playoff games. The Alabama game, it's like he played more not to get blown out rather than playing to win.
Yep, that's exactly how he played it. He played those big games to lose by not a lot rather than to win them. And I'm convinced of that. The game plan proved it. There was no effort to win the game. It was just trying to minimize the damage. I want to see Freeman be aggressive. You have really nothing to lose. The pressure's all on Ohio State's, and they're the more established program with the established head coach, fourth year, quarterback is elite, can drop dimes accurately, talent, like wide receiver talent, all of that. I don't know. It's going to be wild.
I feel like under Freeman, we will definitely be a lot better prepared. We may not win, but we will be a lot better prepared.
That's a very, very good way to put it. Yeah, and I want to see that too. And that's a big indication of kind of the grip Freeman has on what this needs to look like to get it where it needs to go. Like, I'm really interested to find out game one, is the conditioning good enough? Are our guys huffing and puffing after a quarter, or is the way Freeman set this all up year one right on track where you're not having a struggle in that area. Like things like that I'm even thinking of.
Well, because on the first practice, I mean, I think there were a few guys who had to didn't make it through the first practice because they were huffing and puffing or whatever, and it sounds like he hasn't taken his foot off the gas in fall camp, which is good.
Yep, I liked that. He put out the statement right after that first practice, I think, saying it's going to be hard, it's going to be physical, it is the way it is. We're not changing. I need you to be available. I don't know whether that's going to pay off week one or not, but I respect the approach.
Absolutely. Now, here's a question. If we somehow shock the world and win this game, do you think we move up to number 2 in the country?
How could you not? If you're playing, if it's a 2-5 or whatever matchup, and then you win it against them, and the other teams aren't playing, and they're right, and the other teams though aren't all playing big matchups week one, how could you not? I think that's fair, but I admit I've not even thought that through because I don't want to get myself excited and then break my little Irish heart week one either.
I hear you on that, and I mean, when the ball's kicked off, I mean, things change, but we already know that Freeman has mentioned what the point spread was to the team.
Yep. And I love the fact that he's embracing that and not running away from it. Like, I love that. Like, I just like that he's not shying away from this stuff and he's trying to use it. Again, that doesn't mean it's going to work, but I can like it anyways because it's a different approach. And I just like it. I want to see this team come out with more purpose in big games than I saw from Kelly's teams. And I think that's something fair to judge right away. That vibe when they run out there and kick it off. I want to see that intensity.
I think you would agree we cannot afford to lose the turnover battle in this game.
Well, you're done. Forget that. There is no path. Notre Dame's got to be clean, 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 clean. I do not think Notre Dame has that much margin for error at all. They're going to have to play a clean game week one to be in it late with a chance to make moves. That's just how I see it. And we'll see what happens.
And of course, Paul Feinbaum already said he's figuring we're going to get run out of the stadium.
Well, of course he figures that. Why wouldn't he?
He don't like us. So
no. Yep. You know his deal. Yeah. You know his deal. He's sitting on that big SEC throne and the ESPN throne. That guy has it made. He knows his market and it works for him, you know?
Just like on College Game Day, Dez doesn't like us and Herb Street doesn't like us.
You know what? Good. Because I don't care and I don't like them. So I don't watch their show. I don't find any value in it. And you know what? Good. I'm glad they don't like us. I just want to be able to shut everybody up 1 year finally. Finally. So let's wrap it up with this. How do you think this plays out Saturday night?
I think we lose in a tight one. So I got to go, John.
All righty. Thanks for the call. Call again. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
See ya. Okay, we have Alex here. Alex, Buckeye fan here, interested in learning about the Irish. If you have any questions for me, I can answer them as well. Alex, thank you for joining me. I love bringing other people outside of the Notre Dame ecosystem in. It's healthy. It helps balance things out. Sometimes you get some good trolls in here. That's always good for business too. Alex, one question I would have for you as an Ohio State fan is, I would like to know, you could even put it in the chat if you're willing to say what you feel most confident in from the Ohio State side entering this ball game. And I would also like to know maybe one or two things you're a little nervous about, or where you're unsure, or have a worry that Notre Dame may be able to make some hay in certain areas. Those are a couple things I would like to know from you as an Ohio State fan. Patrick, thanks for the donation. I'm okay if we lose as long as OSU says ouch after. I get what you're going. You know what? That's an old Chicago Bears thing. When they had some really physical defenses like in the 60s, Doug Buffone and Buckus and these guys laying guys out, but they never won anything because the offense was non-existent. And Butkus and Doug Buffone and them guys would just say, we might lose, but you're going to feel it. And you're going to damn well know our defense was there just because the offense can't score. But I want to, you bring up the ouch factor. And I don't know if some of that's in jest or if you're dead ass serious. But either way, what you bring up is a good point, because you're going to learn about Notre Dame's physicality. You're going to learn about that camp. You're going to figure out real quick whether they did enough to get in the shape it's going to take to be in this ball game. So thanks for the message. Huff for Billy Paw, $4.99. Freeman will not back down. He is a serious, passionate coach and not in a Scott Frost way. Man, that Scott Frost thing is sad. Tell me I'm dreaming when I saw they've lost 7 or 8 games in a row by an average margin of loss of like 2 points or less. That is unbelievable. It's a statistical impossibility to lose that many football games in a row by that low margin and not have one of them luckily break your way. So that's hilarious to me, only because the Nebraska people drive me crazy. They're nonstop, pedal to the metal every single day with this stuff all off season. It's always all build up and this is going to be the year. And then the same thing happens. So I would be losing my mind if I was a Nebraska fan. We got another 574. I'm imagining that's a local to South Bend, Indiana. 574, you're on the air.
Hello.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing good.
What do you think of this upcoming game?
Well, we're going to be in for a crazy game in a loud stadium with 90,000 drunk Ohio State fans being absolutely nuts towards us at that game. So if you're a Notre Dame fan, good luck. I mean, the Ohio State fans are going to be behaving crazy. So I hope you're sitting in a Notre Dame section.
That's a very fair concern. And a part of the reason I just have no interest in going. I had people offer. I just don't. I need to be locked up in my living room alone, pacing around for this is more my comfort zone.
Oh, I can't even be in my living room during this game because my dad's sitting out there. He's screaming at the TV. So I'm usually locked in my back room watching the game on my little phone or my tablet, trying to watch the game.
Let me ask you this. With all the changes with Notre Dame and the transition from the Kelly era into the Freeman era, what's the top 1 or 2 things you're looking most forward to being different now under Freeman? Not necessarily better than Kelly, but different. What are those items? What are you looking forward to seeing that you trigger as being different?
Well, what I'm looking forward to is just a more positive aspect on coaching. With Kelly, it was always yelling at the team about this problem. I'm like, rather than trying to help people with the problem. I mean, that's the main issue I had with Brian Kelly was he would always yell at his players. Like, remember when he said, I'm going to execute my team after the game? And I just thought that was so inappropriate.
Yeah, he thought it was funny though. That he thought everybody got the inside nature of that joke, and I don't think everybody did. He's just a weird guy. I think he's
he was weird.
I just think he's a weird guy, and I think like personality wise, sometimes I didn't feel like Kelly even knew who he was, and that's how you ended up going through these phases of yelly purple face, and then the laid back guy dancing with the players he tried for a year, and then that didn't work, and then he ended up settling in the middle of CEO type. I am just ready for a new vibe, and I just don't know how to measure. I don't know how to measure that though. Like if that's just a result on the field, but like I feel like I'm gonna feel a different way seeing Notre Dame out there under Freeman, and I'm excited for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, another one of my concerns was when I would go on to any other like sports show, it's like everyone is still talking about how Kelly killed Declan Sullivan. Everyone's still talking about that. So I'm just ready for a new era so people can finally put that behind us.
Yeah, you know what? I always run into that when you're having a heated Notre Dame debate. And then whenever I say Notre Dame tries to do things the right way, bam, that's what people throw back at me. Your head coach, killed a kid. I hear that all the time. And that's a tough one. But I just don't like Brian Kelly personally that much. And I do with the new guy, and I want to see him succeed. That's all. It's that simple. I like this guy's personality more. Very, very simple on a personal level.
Yeah, I just never really liked Kelly. I mean, it's just there's something was always off about him for me.
That's how I feel too. But I'm open to the idea that there's something off about me. Like, I've always been open to the idea. Maybe that's a John problem. Like, maybe it's me, because I don't think I'm the most normal guy, but I still think I'm more normal in that one than Kelly.
Yeah.
So what do you think happened Saturday night? If you had to give your best guess, how do you see this playing out in the dark skies of Columbus?
Oh man. Well, it really just depends on what happens in the first half. Let's say, for example, Ohio State scores on the first touchdown and Notre Dame stalls out on the first drive. We all seen this movie before. I think it will be a blowout. So I would actually disagree with you. I would actually take the ball off the coin toss. You want to slow that game down as much as you can, get a field goal, and then maybe a stop, and then try to take the crowd out of the game somehow, because that crowd's going to be nuts. And if they score a few times, they'll go back to grabbing their alcohol glass in front of them saying, hey, it's going to be a long night, guys.
You're advocating for a very aggressive path, and I very much respect it. My question to you would be, if you're going to go that way and you want the ball and do all that, does that put your new quarterback in a bad position? Drive one in the Columbus, situation, all those fans, first drive of the college football season on prime time. Do you want all that pressure to start the game to be on your new young quarterback or your veteran defense you trust more? I think that's where that calculation comes in.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we'll probably not know the answer, because I am not friends personally with Tyler Buckner. But I would ask the quarterback, Tyler, are you comfortable with getting the ball first? Because I think we would probably need to get the ball first just to try to take the energy out of this crowd. I would ask him if he's okay with it. And if Tyler said, hey, I'm cool with it, coach, I'll do whatever you take, I'll probably just give him the ball first.
You know what? Tyler's the kind of guy that would want the ball too. Tyler would want the ball. Like that's a quarterback's mindset. He's going to say, give me this ball and I'm going to shut this crowd up in about 3 minutes. Like, I would want him to have that attitude too.
Yeah, if he said that, I would have given him the ball. I mean, I would just probably try to give him the ball just because I want to get the crowd out of the game. Because if we give up a easy score by C.J. Stroud, I mean, that crowd is going to be nuts on his first possession, and I think that's even worse.
Yep. Nope. You bring up a good point. I mean, these are tough. Any way you cut this, it's a tough dynamic because of the environment you're going in and everything built into it. Yeah, that's really interesting. So I don't know. It's Notre Dame can win this game, but the path to get there is very specific. And I just worry that if one or two little things doesn't go according to plan, it could throw Notre Dame off. But Notre Dame can win this game. And I feel that way more than I would have with the old guy. And I mean that.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame can win this game. And I will definitely be going to put money on them at Four Winds Casino, because they said it was plus 575 for Notre Dame to win. So it's like if you put $5 down, you win like $50. So it's a big payout if Notre Dame wins.
There you go. Drop that. And then I think you called before. I'm pretty sure you have. And you said that you live right by campus. And then I invited myself over to tailgate. Do you remember that? You got to be her. That's you, right?
Yeah, that is me. I'm James. Yes, I was the guy who called. I called like 3 months ago, I think.
Yeah. It's been a while, but I remembered you. So enjoy the ball game, and I'll be in town for Cal. I'll be over at the Player Club tailgate. So if you make it over there, you'll see me.
Yeah, I might have to go over there.
Beautiful. I'll be there. Let me know. Thanks for the call. Have a good day.
Okay. All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Another South Bend local there. Chief Brody here. Thanks for the donation on a Wednesday morning. I appreciate that. $5 goes a long way. Chief's been a long time guy too. Appreciate that. What makes us think our O-line, which was putrid last season, is going to improve wildly under a new position coach, while OSU's putrid D-line won't? I think that's a perfectly fair question to ask. I think one thing is some of the pieces in Notre Dame's offensive line, it's not like they're all new. You know what you're going to get, especially at the tackles. I feel great. I feel really, really good about the tackles, as good as I could probably feel about where that tackle situation's at right now. Now, when you get inside, then I get a little nervous. I don't like the Patterson injury. That makes me a little nervous. Even if it's like, well, he's going to tough through it and he's going to play anyways. Well, are you 60%? Are you 70%? Can you pivot? Can you move? Playing's playing, and I respect trying to be tough, but you have to be effective when you're playing too. And this isn't the game where you could figure out 3 quarters in a guy can't move. Too late. So what makes me feel better about it is some of these are known entities to the point where I have some comfort with them. Number 2 is I like the current offensive line coach a lot more than I like the last offensive line coach. It took 6 games to get the offensive line going to a level that wasn't just embarrassing last year. You're not going to have that problem. I just don't think you are. I don't think Harry will allow it. So I do not think that you're going to have that issue. I just don't. I think the offensive line is going to come in and be ready to move some people. Now, they might not move enough people to make you happy week 1 against Ohio State because you're going against a great team, but I expect that line to be much improved right away. Now, with Ohio State's defensive line improvement, yeah, they're going to. They have some young, unproven guys that are going to get better and do that. The issue is, I think it's a lot easier to bring Harry back in here with some of these guys that are already established and you know they're good to get that going than an entire defensive change with the new staff and people are unfamiliar and it's a new guy. I just think it'll be a little easier with the familiarity Harry has with everything in Notre Dame. I just feel pretty good about it. But at the same time, I'm not saying Ohio State's defensive line isn't going to get better. It's just how much better can they get in one offseason? Better enough to hold Notre Dame under 100 yards rushing like Brian Kelly in every game, and then we're getting blown out if that's what happens. So I'm saying both of these units are going to be better. And it's a matter of who's is better at getting better. Maybe that's the best way to put this, right? I think our offensive line is going to come out ready to play right away. They think their defense and defensive line is going to come out in a much better place than they were last year. Both are probably true. Who improved more? Who's better to begin with and then improves? That moves the equation, moves the numbers. Good question to ask, though. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Scott Beasley, don't blow a 28-7 lead to this OSU. Man, that's harsh at 10:10 a.m. on a Wednesday. Here's what I'm going to say about that. Don't blow a 28-7 lead to this OSU. What I'm going to tell you is at least people actually care about this OSU. That's the difference. No one cares about Oklahoma State. No one. So at least this OSU is recognized as like being great at football and all that. Congratulations. You got a big bowl win over a head coachless team. Congratulations. Like, fine, you can have it. Here's the difference, too. One difference is at least this OSU people care about and recognize all over the world. But the other one is you beat a team in the middle of total flux, transition, uncertainty, disorganization. I can't look at this as a regular bowl prep and then you beat Notre Dame. No, you had half these guys, instead of prepping for the bowl game, having their agent line up their next coaching job. So it was a mess. There's no doubt it was a mess. But what you need to realize, Scott, is here's the difference between Notre Dame and that Oklahoma State. The difference is this is as good as it gets for you, is what just happened. Notre Dame has more ceiling to reach. What you just saw is as good as it's going to get for that program. So congratulations, the major bowl win. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a jerk. Notre Dame has bigger goals. You just reached yours. That's as good as it's going to get. That's as good as it's going to get for Oklahoma State. I'm sorry, it just is. So take that win and shove it in Brian Kelly's face in a swamp. I know that was mean. Oh, here we go. We got another 574. You're on the air, 574. Who we got?
Kevin.
What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing just fine. I'm actually out and about throughout South Bend delivering lumber, hoping that the Irish defense also delivers the lumber Saturday night.
Oh, I like that. That's a nice tie-in. Now, remind me, you're back to doing your football announcing too now, aren't you?
I am. I'm actually calling New Prairie high school football games home and away. We got a big game on the road this Friday night over at Lowell against the Lowell Red Devils.
That's fantastic, man. That's exciting. That's good work you do. That's a great gig. I love that you do that. That's fantastic. And everybody that goes to those says you do a great job. So that's fantastic, man.
Well, thank you.
Kevin, what do you make of this? How are you mentally and emotionally processing these last remaining few days till this ball game?
Honestly, I got kind of a pit in my stomach right now thinking about this game. I mean, I got a whole laundry list of emotions. I mean, there's moments where I feel pretty good and confident that, hey, I think Notre Dame could pull off a shocker. And then there's moments where I think, boy, I just hope this isn't a repeat of what we've basically been subjected to for the last 12 years, big letdowns in big games. But, ultimately, I think Notre Dame will find a way to make things interesting. I'm not so sure that they win the ball game, but if they were to lose, it's not like it's going to be a 21-point loss or a 28 or 35-point loss. I think Notre Dame, to be honest with you, I took Notre Dame to cover. So I don't think it's going to be anything worse than 18 points. I think Freeman will have some tricks up his sleeve. So, I mean, that's just what I think. Who knows what's going to really happen?
Yeah, it's just wild, man. There's so much new and so many unknowns. I think on both sides of this matchup that it's really interesting. Like Ohio State's defense, I want to wait and see. I know they have the talent, but I need to see it all come together before I'm convinced that it's great. So I'm in wait and see mode on Ohio State's defense. I'm a little bit in wait and see mode on their offensive line. I'm a little questionable on that, thinking Notre Dame could take advantage there. And then the Tyler Buckner experience. What are we going to get? So I don't know what to expect on all those items. And I don't know what you expect either, but it's going to be interesting.
Well, I think Freeman is going to try to really establish the run game because that, as you said, and many of the other callers throughout the week have mentioned that, you look at the game film from the Oregon game last year versus Ohio State. You look at the game film of the Michigan game. You look at those games, those teams got after the Buckeyes on the ground early and often, and really that opened up the game for them through the air. So, I mean, it sounds simple in theory. Obviously, when you go to put that into reality, can Notre Dame in the trenches dominate? And if they can dominate, I mean, it's going to bode well for Notre Dame, I think. But, they can't get buried early. That's the thing. Notre Dame can't go out there, lay an egg, and all of a sudden you're down 14-0. Because at that point, I don't know if you can get back into the ball game against an offense like the Buckeyes have.
Yeah, you definitely, Notre Dame, especially with this offense trying to find its footing early in the year, Notre Dame cannot afford to get down early, especially in that environment, not at home. That's the worst case scenario. That's how it snowballs downhill on you. That's how this ends up being embarrassing. That's how people start saying Freeman's in over his head. They start negatively recruiting. Like, that's the outcome you need to avoid. A competitive loss, I think most reasonable Notre Dame people could frustratingly process, knowing there's light at the end of the Freeman tunnel. It just can't get away from you. It can't get ugly to where people can mock it. That's what just can't be.
Yeah, exactly. If they get blown out and, fashion similar to that of Brian Kelly coach team, that's not going to sit well with a lot of Notre Dame fans. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to bail on Freeman because I do agree with you and a lot of the people that have spoke on your show that Freeman is the answer long term. And I think you have to give him at least a good year to really get himself established in there. I mean, based off what we've seen so far with the recruiting and just how he handles the media and how he is preparing the team and just the things that he says and does, it's clear to me that Freeman is bought into the Notre Dame spirit. And, with that, you got to understand, too, that he's a first-time head football coach as well at this level. So, you got to be a little patient. But I think, it's how they lose. If they do lose, that's going to be where people are going to have to formulate their opinion. If they lose in a close loss, or maybe you get a weird bounce of the ball and it's a controversial play, I think most Notre Dame fans are going to be feeling pretty good that, hey, we hung with one of the best offenses in the country and lost by a very small margin on a weird bounce. But, it's how you lose. That's what's really going to be what people are going to watch for if Notre Dame loses.
Yeah, nope. You bring up a really good point, and you have to start somewhere. And I don't really count the bowl game, because of all the instability and being in flux. So you have to start somewhere. So at least this gives us a baseline level to look at against an elite program, a proven elite program. We're at least going to have a clean baseline of where we're going to know where we're starting at. And no matter how this goes, that's helpful for a first-time guy. You're going to know right away week one where you line up against top team in the country. That's helpful.
Yeah, it is. You got to have a measuring stick. You got to have a frame of reference, some kind of a point to start at when you look at this team and you compare them to, the elite upper echelon in college football right now. Now, the thing to me is I've thought about it for the last couple of weeks now. So there's three. Obviously, the predominant scenario, at least according to the national media and, of course, on Twitter, is that Notre Dame's going to get just completely run out of Columbus. I don't think that that's going to happen. Then there's the scenario that, Notre Dame fans are dreaming and hoping for and praying for, and that's Notre Dame goes in there and pulls off an upset. I think that that's a possibility, same as the original scenario, but I don't know if that's going to happen. And then, like I say, the third scenario is I think Notre Dame would lose in a contestable fashion. So, I kind of bounced around between the upset and a close loss most of the time when thinking about these scenarios. I just don't see Notre Dame going in there and just getting absolutely smoked. I just don't really see that. I mean, that's the least of the three scenarios I see happening.
Yeah. And when I play out the likely scenarios in my mind, that's kind of how I see it too. I would have, Ohio State winning under the spread is the number one likely scenario. Notre Dame winning at all, number two. Then I would go Ohio State big and then Notre Dame big, least likely, just because I don't think our offense is in a position to be able to blow anybody out right now of this caliber. So that's how I see the most likely outcomes. And I think that's perfectly reasonable based off the information we know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The thing that also has me a little worried is, we talked about it, is the depth. Notre Dame, obviously, at running back and wide receiver, a little thin, and I just hope that, with it being an early season game, obviously the juices are going to be flowing for both teams, so I'm sure you're going to see a lot of aggression out there. I just hope we don't have any significant injuries, or really any injuries for that matter, because you never want to see that. But, if you're going to have injuries, you don't want to see it at a spot on your roster where you don't really have any guys that can step up that are scholarship athletes.
Right. Yep. That's a good point. And the depth and some of those roster issues are a big thing that Marcus has to work through. He's got to find a way to win with what he has now while also working on tweaking the longer scale project. And that is a very tough needle to thread. And we're getting it off to a start Saturday. We're going to see how it goes. So, Kevin, thanks for the call, man. And good luck with your game. Announce well. Hope you pronounce everybody's name the right way. And then I'll be in town for Cal and we'll hang out.
All right. Well, you've got my number. Hit me up.
Beautiful. Have a good one, man. Thanks for the call. Have a good day.
Yep, you too.
All right. We got a little drama here. Chief Brody, we love Marcus. I'm assuming this is an Ohio State person. We love Marcus as a player. He's family. We didn't sell him down the river. He shitted on himself. No one provoked him to say that. Listen, I've been saying this before. For as high end of a program as Ohio State fans take on as being just on their own, like as much as they think of themselves, these are people who tried to copyright and trademark the word the. The. That's what these people are. They think they can trademark the word the. They think it's theirs because they play football. The. It's all the. Okay? That's who you're dealing with. People who think they own the word the. Okay? So that's who I got to realize I'm dealing with. People here that believe they own the word the. Okay? That's this group of people. They invented the word the. So it shouldn't surprise me a group of people that think they own the goddamn word the are also mad that Marcus Freeman gets the Notre Dame job and then gets it up at the podium and has more good things to say about Notre Dame than Ohio State. That really shouldn't surprise you guys. I'd be a lot more worried that Michigan ran a truck over my ass 24/7 and walked into the playoff than I'd be mad about Notre Dame's new coach saying that he's happy to be there. Again, what do I know, right? What do I know? But these are people that think they invented the word the, and now they're mad. Marcus is going, yeah, I like Notre Dame a little more than Ohio State. He's coaching for Notre Dame. He ain't coaching at Ohio State. What did you want him to do? Get up there and just act like he got the Ohio State job and throw all the bouquets at Ohio State? What did you expect Notre Dame's new coach to do? You think he owns that? They think they invented the word the. I kept it together for an episode and a half. All day Monday, no real big freakouts. Now we get here. These people own the. They own the. I can't believe it that you could think you own the word the, and it isn't even the. With them, it's the. I don't care. I'm over it. I'm over these people, and I just want to be done talking about Ohio State people. I do. And the next time after this game that I want to hear all about Ohio State people, it's them talking about how they beat Michigan to get things back to normal here. That's the other thing. Of course, I never liked Ohio State, but you know what I liked about Ohio State? They at least used to beat Michigan. And if we don't have them on the schedule, I can at least rely on that. But now you let Michigan roll right over you into the playoff, and then you want to sit there in the offseason and be mad at Notre Dame's new coach for being happy that he's at Notre Dame. That's what we're doing, Ohio State people. That's the game we're playing. Take your the and the and shove it. How about that? The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean the? Everybody's got a the or a the. You don't own it. It's the. It's the oldest word in the book. The. I need a minute. I'm sorry. That got to me. The. Give me a freaking break. The and the. You got me all worked up now. How could you be more mad at this than losing to Michigan? Oh, we got to hang 60 on Marcus because he got up there and said, I like Notre Dame. Oh, it's unbelievable. Did you really think Notre Dame's new coach was going to play it even and get up there and go, yeah, I really love Notre Dame, and I also really love Ohio State, and they're both equal to me? No. Of course he's going to do that, favoring where he's coaching. Everybody does it. I just can't believe that that's the thing. That's the one that crossed the line, and the Ohio State people can't handle it. They can't handle it. Get over yourself. Why did you let the entire country down and let Michigan think they're good at sports? You should be more mad at that than Marcus saying, I'm glad to be at damn Notre Dame. Good morning. Sweating over here. Man. Whoo. Back to the phone lines. 480, you're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, John?
What's up? Good morning, Arizona. It's early out that way.
Yeah, it's 8:28, man. 8:28.
Where are you at in your mind on this today, man? Where are you at? Tell me.
Hey, first and foremost, man, just take a little loose out, man. I know the Ohio State death nuts want to own the word the and the, which is ridiculous. But anyways, man, I've kind of been doing some reading, and I've kind of been tuning in to some of the Ohio State press conferences, listening to Ryan Day and Jim Knowles. And, I'm really trying to understand the fascination that Jim Knowles has with this, 4-2-5 defense, because he's made the emphasis that this defense is a safety-driven defense. Now, I'm going to say this. Here's the thing. Here's the whole thing in a nutshell. They have the talent, but this defense, we as records have shown with Jim Knowles when he has started out his first season coaching for Kings, the defenses have regressed in the first year. So if he really believes that the safeties are going to be the leading factor in this defense dominating against Notre Dame, I'm going to tell you right now, man, Tyler Buckner is going to eat them alive on RPOs, and Michael Mayer and all these guys, man, speedsters are going to just eat them up if they're going to lean on a safety-driven style defense like that. I understand there's different disguises that he's going to try to initiate, but that defense is not a defense that's, going to be a solidarity,
right, they're going to be able to catch on right away going into this game. It's going to take them about a good year or so to get that defense set up in a way where it really runs like a well-oiled machine. But to expect that these players are going to go in and have this defense solidified on Saturday is just, I just don't see it, man. And I'm telling you, what people are basing their judgments off of is what they saw with Oklahoma State, because it's basically similarity of the same type of defense structure. But the differential was you had a guy who had feet like a snail, who just sat back and threw the ball all day and broke a record for 500 some yards passing because he couldn't run worth a damn. Now you got a guy who can throw the damn ball and he's got lightning feet. So with that type of defense, that was the differential in us winning and losing the game. Because had we really initiated that type of run structure with Todd Buckner having that dual threat opportunity in that game, we wouldn't even be talking about why we lost Oklahoma State and why Marcus Freeman is going into the horseshoe 0-1, because we were in 1-0, plain and simple. So all I'm saying is that I think people are overhyping this Jim Knowles defense. Like, you can just put it on the field and everybody's just going to latch hold to it like right away. And, it's not going to happen. I just don't believe it's going to happen the way they think it's going to happen with this defense. It's going to force some mismatches on both sides, but I believe that Tyler Buckner is such an intelligent guy that he's going to be able to pick up the different reads and the blitzes that are going to come in, the different coverages they're going to be going in. He's going to be able to recognize and disguise when he sees a linebacker coming down that's playing like a defensive end and vice versa. All these, different ways they're going to try to really create confusion. And I just believe, man, that Kyle Buckner is going to really have a field day offensively with his feet. But also, man, if they try to load the box and make him really throw the ball, dude, he's going to throw the ball. Did you see that big bomb he threw to Kevin Austin last year and Virginia Tech? I mean, the guy has an arm, man. And I'm really ready for Saturday to come so that he can shut up a lot of these doubters that think he can't throw the ball. Like, we're not looking at Ian Book, okay? Ian Book couldn't throw a damn ball to save his life. He scrambled and folded up like in a field position every time the defense came running after him. This is a guy who can actually see the field, and he's got a good arm, and he's very smart when it comes to recognizing defenses, even being a younger guy. So I'm not really stressed out more or less about them understanding and recognizing these defenses. What I'm more concerned about is these receivers, these release packages that Braylon Lindsey and Styles and all these guys talk about that Chancey Stuckey has implemented. I want to see it, man. I want to see when they go to a commercial break, Curve Street and the other guy is saying, oh, man, look at Braylon Lindsey's release package. Like, I want them to actually say it, because I'm really tired of us having to lean on the quarterback to do all the work. We need a dominant receiver to come in and be a dog on Saturday. Because here's the bottom line. We really don't have – we don't want to lose. As Notre Dame fans, we don't want to lose to Ohio State. We don't. But here's the deal. We don't really have anything to lose going into this game. Yeah, if we lose the game, it's going to suck, man. Number one, it's Ohio State. They're going to throw it in our face until next season. And, they're going to say we're overrated to another. But the mentality should be, look, they're saying we're a 17.5-point underdog. Okay, play the underdog role. That means you have nothing. You have no pressure. If anybody has pressure, the pressure goes on Ohio State. Because, hell, even if we keep the game close and it comes down to a interception or a wide right or wide left field goal miss or something like that costs us the game, people are going to be more critical of Ohio State.
Yeah, no, you're right about that.
The dominant offense? Are they really the dominant Is Jim Knowles' defense really what people say it is? You even have Ohio State fans starting to discredit the team just because they allowed us in the game. They'll say, well, y'all kept Notre Dame in the game the entire time. How good is this defense? How good is this offense?
Yep.
Not really crediting the fact that we're just a good-ass team.
Yep. Nope, you're right.
So
and
there's just so many variables, man.
Yeah, and I think that matchup of our young quarterback and him developing and what he's capable right out of the gate versus how improved their defense is right out of the gate is one of the main matchups of the game. Thank you for the call, my friend. Last half hour, we're going to breeze through, get as many people in as we can. Enjoy that Arizona weather, my friend. Have a good day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Take care. All right, last half hour, we're going to try and bang through as many calls as we could get to. 567, you're on the air. Is this Ohio? We got an Ohio person here. Who we got?
We got a domer in Ohio, John.
That's a lot better. That's what I like to hear. I was getting ready to have to go back and forth with somebody, but I'm glad to hear that you're on our side but in enemy territory. How do you see things shaping up? How are you thinking? How are you feeling?
Well, how do I see things shaping up is I see two different scenarios. I can see Ohio State winning the close game, and I can see Ohio State really giving it to us.
Now, what do you think's gonna make the difference in which one of those happens? What are the biggest moving factors to you that determine which of those paths we go down?
Our offense. We got to keep up. I think their offense is they're going to get theirs, right? Everybody knows that. Everybody's,
yep.
Even if we shut down the run, Stroud and those receivers, the tight ends, they're gonna find spots in our defense, and they're gonna do it through the air, even if we shut down the run. Yeah, I think the key to us staying in the game is our offense, and we just need to keep up, man.
Yep. Nope. I've been saying that as well. Like you're so right. Like a part of our best defense in this game is our offense, running the ball, keeping the clock running, building drives, letting our guys on defense rest. Like that's the Notre Dame path to victory here. It just all has to go right. And I'm struggling with if a few things go sideways, does Notre Dame have enough in the tank week one to figure it out, right the ship, and make it work and get through it? So I'm struggling with some of those dynamics.
Yeah, I'm almost, I wanted to ask you too. Do you think I know we got Tommy Rees coming back as our OC, but do you think we do anything differently on offense, particularly in this game, to kind of throw them off?
Listen, here's one thing I brought up, and I kind of got laughed at, and I was half kidding midway through the summer. I would put in I am not kidding. I would put in one little tiny package that looks kind of like an option and let Tyler Buchner run with an extra blocker or two, and I would maybe try that to kind of throw off Ohio State a little bit, or eat up some clock, gain some first downs. But take that off the table if you think I'm being crazy by suggesting that. I just think you got to get creative.
I was actually talking to my dad the other day, and I brought up the point to him is I would like to have a little wrinkle. Like, I don't want to build a whole playbook around it, but I would like to have a wrinkle of the wishbone, throw a fullback out there, and we could pass out of it too. Just because I think we have the personnel to do that.
Right. And it's like, I'm trying to think of something where you could take advantage of it right away. And then by the time they adjust, you kind of already benefited off of it. Right. And I'm also trying to think of ways to make this a comfortable first start for Tyler Buchner and not ask too much of him, or try and play into his strengths that he's already comfortable doing. But I just think Rees has to get creative with that wide receiver depth as it is. You're going to have to be more creative with your tight ends. You're going to use more 2 tight end sets. What do you do with them? How are you going to get creative using what you have in the running back room to help balance some of what you don't have in the wide receiver room? How can you use Tyree in space more? Like, those are all the kind of things I would be thinking about. Reese has to get creative this year because you just don't have the dudes
I would even
to do it.
I would be thinking of ways to use Tyree all over the field. Like, he's not just a running back.
Yep.
He's a tool, and we're going to put him out of wideout. We're going to put him at receiver. I'd have him back there returning punts. I heard that our safety Joseph's going to be back there returning punts, which I'm happy about because that's more explosive than. No offense to Matt back there. But,
fair catch, Matt.
Seems like all he does back there is he catches the ball, and you can't take that for granted. But I see a lot of fair catches, and I think we're going to need some big plays from our special teams, turnovers. If we do want to win this game, we're going to need something from the special teams. We're going to need turnovers.
Oh yeah,
we're going to have to play.
Yeah, that's
100%.
That's
pretty much.
That's kind of how I see it too. Late last night, I recorded not a live stream, but just my own video previewing the game. And I kind of went down the path you went down, saying there's a path here for Notre Dame, but they got to do almost everything really, really well week 1, game 1. And that's a lot to ask, but it's needed. You don't have that much margin for error if you're Notre Dame in this ball game. So you're going to have to overcome that week 1 rust or, whatever it is. You can't afford that. So you got to be sharp right away. It's a big ask, but the benefit of that is it's a pure test. You're not starting with Cal and then we kill them and you still don't know if we're good or not. You're going to have a pretty good handle where we're at after this game. Win, lose, or draw. Well, draw is not possible. Win or lose. That's going to be good to at least have a benchmark of.
Yeah, for me, I listened to a caller yesterday on your show. I was listening, and I heard him say that no more moral victories. I'm in the same boat. I know that this is Marcus Freeman's first year, but I am just, I'm 39 years old. Okay, so I've seen.
You're sick of losing every big game, aren't you? You're just sick of losing every big game.
What's that?
You're sick of losing every big game, aren't you?
Oh my gosh, it's terrible. And especially living in Ohio, man. Yeah, I hear you talk about these Ohio State fans. I'm telling you, they're worse than you're saying. I have all my buddies are Ohio State fans, and they are absolutely the most arrogant, terrible fan base that I have ever been around. College, pro. They're terrible. They're awful.
Ooh, man. So what do you? Wait a second. Are you going to go to that?
Talking about how they try to steal the word "the."
Yeah.
I want to tell you something else they're good at. They're good at spelling the word Ohio. They're also good at that.
Yeah. Congratulations. Even they can do that many letters.
You know what I mean, man?
Yeah. It's
and go ahead.
I don't even remember what I was going to say. You could go ahead. Couldn't have been that important. What I was going to say.
I got some stuff. Here for you. I also heard a caller yesterday talk about the cornerbacks, and it's going to be a disadvantage for Notre Dame, OSU's cornerbacks, because they play against the best wide receivers in college football.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I see to that, a weakness, is they're going to be spying Mayer, or they're going to be spying Buckner, and they're going to be doubling Mayer.
Yep.
So there's going to be openings.
Yep.
Like I said a couple minutes ago, if we could take advantage of some miscues, turnovers, special teams, punt return, kick return, whatever it is, field goal block. And if we can take advantage of the holes that Mayer is going to leave and them spying Buckner, there's going to be some things that we could take advantage of. If we can do that, I see some light. Do I think it's going to happen? Like you said the other day about the special teams. You haven't seen it. I haven't seen Notre Dame win a big game in a long time.
Yeah.
So I have to see it to believe it.
And that's perfectly fair. That is totally fair. 100% totally fair. And I love what you said about those matchups. Like that is, it all comes down to those matchups. Who's going to be able to take advantage? Who's going to be able to pivot? You're 100% right. They're going to have to spy Buckner. And you're 100% right. They're going to have to bracket or do something to get extra coverage on Mayer. That leaves guys open. Can we take advantage?
No drop balls.
Can we take advantage?
We got to catch the 5-yard slants. We got to No Butterfingers in this game. We got to be on point.
Yep. Nope. It's going to be interesting. There's a lot of moving parts. There's like immediate things we want to see. There's long-term parts of this that are ongoing. I like the fact that you're going to get a clean, good, honest benchmark of where the Freeman era is starting at right away against a top team.
Yep.
And you're going to know where we're at. Close, not close at all, somewhere in the middle, or way ahead of the curve on all of this. Thank you, my friend, for the call. What are you going to do for the game?
I got one more thing for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right?
Go ahead.
All right. Actually, two more things real fast.
Sure.
I just want to know, if you're anything like me during these big games, as long as we're in the ball game, I don't sit down one time throughout the game. How do you watch a game? Are you sitting down? Are you standing up the whole time? What are you doing?
I'm a pacer. So I usually pace hallways. Like I will just pace back and forth. And when the play's going on, I'll stand still and watch it. And then in between the play, I go do a circle or pace back and forth. I cannot sit still. Sitting still makes me nervous. And for that reason, going to Notre Dame games makes me very uncomfortable because I'm trapped and I can't move around, and it's very uncomfortable. That's what I do.
Yep. I'm the same way. I'm pacing in my living room, throwing a football up in the air the entire game.
And you know what I like?
Then, I'm going to leave you with this. Okay?
Go ahead.
Leave you with this. Yes, I think it's going to be a Notre Dame loss. I do think it's going to be a Notre Dame loss. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be rooting like hell for my boys.
Yep.
So here it is.
Beautiful.
I want to see a nasty punch you in the mouth. You know what's coming, but we're going to shove it right down your throat anyways in Columbus on Saturday. Go Domers, baby. Beautiful.
I love it. Take care, my friend. Good call. Have fun out there in Ohio.
All right, you too, buddy.
Take care. 707. 707. What is that? Is that California?
Yes, it is.
How are you?
Good. I'm kind of new to seeing you live on this vlog kind of streaming thing, but I do download your podcast, so I know you're very calm in this off season. But I've heard you go off, and just earlier I was laughing again because the Ohio State is pretty funny.
I'm sorry. It's too much. You don't own the word the. You don't own the word the. It's not yours. It's not yours. You guys didn't create it.
I know. But one of the things you guys touched a little bit upon is that opening kickoff. And Kelly used to make me bonkers with that because, it's just predictable. And if you're especially traveling and you let the defense on the field first, the crowd is going to be crazy loud. But if you defer, you have to give them the ball at their home stadium, then they can't be as loud because their quarterback and their offense has to hear the signals. So you're taking the crowd out of the game right away when you're a visitor. If you go on defense first, they can't get crazy, right?
That is a really, really good point. You're absolutely right, because you're going to have the warm-ups, and then the team's running out there, and everybody's excited. And then if Stroud's out there, they're going to have to be quiet. I love that angle. That's another really easy way to look at this.
And it's the same thing if you're at home and you take the ball first. The quarterback has to quiet your own crowd down. So to me, it's always defer, just like you. I would always defer. Just, you get the ball at least as many times in the second half. In the first half, you might have them get the advantage of one more, but in the second half, you get that advantage. Where is the logic in taking the ball first every time? It made me crazy.
Yeah. And another part of it is, for me also, maybe it's because I trust Notre Dame's defense a lot more than the offense. Would your opinion on this change if Notre Dame had Ohio State's offense, where it's electric and it's one play and you can score over the top? Would that change your calculus, or would you still always defer to defer?
I would defer in this game and most every time, but I think you have to lead with your best, and Notre Dame's defense is their best strength.
Yeah.
They have about anywhere from 9 to 14 seniors that you've seen on the roster get playing time on defense. So they have a loaded defense of experience. So go with your best strength. These guys are, And another thing I would bring out is I think I just lost my train of thought on that. I'm worried a little bit about Cam Hart. Like everyone's talking about how great he's going to be. He's going to have his hands full all game, and we really haven't seen him be great yet. He's got, a lot of learning last year, but will that translate into what everyone's thinking? He's so great. Like I see him as a big boy out there. Can he keep up with these wide receivers? I think he's going to need a lot of help. And the same way with Clarence Lewis. I don't even know if he's going to start, but I'm guessing he will. But I like his game. Like he was a lot of times out there on an island alone. Like they always put like Drake London. Remember the USC game?
Oh yeah.
That guy had 17 catches or something. Not one was in the end zone. To me, that's a damn good job that Clarence Lewis did on him because they made him play him wherever he was.
Yep. And I've been saying this too. You can give out yards out the wazoo to Ohio State. Everybody that plays that offense is going to give up yards and some chunks. Like that's going to happen. Can Notre Dame tighten it up and make those end in 3s and not 7s? That's a big deal to me. It could dictate the outcome of the game. I'm okay giving up some yardage because everybody's going to against this team. But when it matters most, can you keep those 7s off the board and keep them off the board in clusters? That's a big question to me.
Right. And I'm very happy that Marcus Freeman acknowledged that spread.
Me too.
17 points.
Me too.
If I was every single one of those coaches, I would be drilling into them. You boys are being told year after year that you can't win the big game. How do you like that? How does that sit with you? You guys are pussies. You can't win the big game. Are you ever going to get mad about that? Are you ever going to beat someone's head in because of that? It's like you got to get these guys fired up to play these guys and say, this is our game today, and we're going to knock you around the field every single freaking play.
Yep. And that mentality I felt was always lacking under Kelly, especially in the biggest moments. I did not ever feel that he had them emotionally and mentally prepared for a football war the way that the group in the other locker room, was preparing for it, which made it an unfair fight to start, which is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And I'm looking for something new. All right.
Yeah, Kelly was just Mr. Corporate, like he didn't have.
He's a politician.
Yeah, he just didn't know how to motivate players. He'd say, "Okay, let's go out and get them."
Yeah.
Like, no, these are young kids. They feed off of fire. I hope that's what Freeman can do in a pregame talk because, enough is enough. I'm tired of it. This is Notre Dame. We don't bow to anybody and say we're going to lose a close one or. They're going to blow us out. No, we come in there and and they're going to know who we are every single freaking play.
That's what I'm talking. You know what? I want you to give the team the pep talk here. You got it going. That's a good job.
Yeah, I go back a very long way. I remember the days of Montana. I remember the days I had Ratty. So I know. It's just not Notre Dame football to accept that they're not in the elite status. And I understand how it's changed in people, getting all these NILs and these top recruits, and it's coming down to 3 or 4 or 5 teams every year. But Notre Dame is never out of that conversation. They're just not. Like all these guys that they get, these are all top-end players, even if they're not the top 10 kind of positional players. It doesn't matter. It depends on the coaching. The coaching, if you can motivate these kids and you can get them to believe and you can get them to play angry and bring chaos, it doesn't matter. You're going to get crazy people out there playing football, and that's going to leave an imprint.
Yep. Nope. That's kind of how I see it too. And you lived through a lot of Notre Dame coaches that had that little motivational it factor to get a little bit more out of their group than it looks like you should be able to on paper. You've seen a lot of that. I don't feel Kelly was good at that. I think this guy may be, and I can't wait to see it. That's where I'm at big picture. He has that little it factor, personality wise, motivational wise, communication wise, and I love it. I love the vibe, but it has to translate on the field eventually.
Yeah, and I would say one of the last things is you guys touched on it, but I don't have much faith in Reeves yet. He just hasn't. He's learning on the job with Notre Dame, and that shouldn't be. You know, like Kelly made that happen. He's not there. He shouldn't be there. But anyway, you know, if I was Reeves, what I would do is I would talk to Lou Holtz, and like you guys mentioned earlier, with an option, I would bring that into the game because there is no other. You know, a coach like Holtz with what he had. He used to have Braxton Banks. He used to have Anthony Johnson. He had Mark Edwards. Like all these fullbacks. If you play an option game with Buckner, that is that guy's best strength. He would be so good in Lou Holtz's offense, right? I mean, you got to use stuff like that. Don't make it about him learning your offense. You got to tailor your coaching abilities, your coaching chops, what the kids are. You know what they can do and their strengths, not yours. They're the ones that have to go out there on the field. So if he has the ability to bring in an option, I think that would be perfect for Terrell Buckner's his strengths.
Yep, and I agree with that as well. And if you can throw Ohio State off just enough or get ahead or throw their plan off, make them adjust, eat up a quarter, like I'm open to all those things. So I appreciate the call very much.
You know, yeah, if you're running the ball with an option, you're taking the time off the clock. You're pounding. You're letting the big dogs eat. You know, instead of always in pass defense where they get the crap beat out of them, the offensive line. If you're dictating with your offensive line and giving an option and making them have to tackle play after play after play on the scrimmage line, you know, there is nothing better than that. I used to love Lou's smash mouth football.
Yep.
You know, even when he lost, you know, he didn't win like 10-2. He didn't have as good a record as Kelly, but they were in a physical match. Every team knew that Notre Dame was coming and we're going to run it down your throat. And that's just the way it is, you know?
Yeah, it'd be nice to get back to that. And I think we will get back to some of that with Harry, and that'll be nice. Some of that physicality. So, but I really appreciate the call, man. Enjoy the ball game and give me a call afterwards. Talk about what you think when it's all over.
All right, I'm Joe Wrong in that chat.
Beautiful. I'll take a look. Thanks, my friend. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Go on.
Dean, I'm sorry. I don't know where it went. I can't find it. I don't know if there's a way for me to be able to just bring up the super chats because I don't want to leave somebody out who paid $9.99 and not say what they said. I don't know how far back it was, but I feel bad I missed it. And now I'm going to feel guilty about it all day. But I scrolled back up. I can't find it. If you want to type in and tell me what it was, I'll read it right now to make it right because I feel bad, but I'm scrolling up. Can't find it. 707, last caller of the day. You're on the air, 707.
Hey,
What's up?
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, man, let me tell you something, man. I got those jitters, dude. I got the same jitters that I had when we took on Oklahoma in Norman, right?
Yep. Those big away game.
Yeah, it was like the same sort of Notre Dame. We're not in, you know, Oklahoma. They had one of the top offenses in the country coming in, and we went in there and we beat them. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, seriously, I'm dead serious about this job. Okay, check this out. We're the number 5 team in the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the points, it's up to 18 right now. It went up to 18. From 17.5 to 18. It's like, wait a minute. I've never known of a top 5 team that's been so disrespected.
What do you think? But let me ask this. What do you think is making that spread rise? Is it the scar tissue of what Brian Kelly did in these moments? So now everybody's writing Notre Dame off just off that? Or is it the belief, the extreme
No, I think
belief
it's
in
a
Ohio
con game.
State? What is it?
I think it's a con game. I think Vegas playing a con game because all the money is going on Ohio State.
Right.
Look, I'm about to drop $1,000, John, on my team.
Well, I mean,
Seriously.
shit, they can lose by 2 touchdowns and a field goal, and you can win your money. I mean, give me a break.
It's crazy, dude. I'm like, what is going on with this? But it's all good. But let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you, I think that the pure disrespect. Did you see Jason Ademilo's interview yesterday?
I saw part of it, but I didn't catch all of it. And then I saw some in the chat, but I think I missed some of that. What did he end up saying?
Dude, let me tell you something. Man. This dude looked possessed, man. He looked like he looked so pissed off. Like, I think this defense is going to be straight monsters, dude. I don't think Ohio State will score over 30 points. Seriously, I don't even give the way this dude was coming on, man. Just his eyes. I think he's going to be. I think this defense. I don't think Ohio State will be able to score over 30 of us.
That would be impressive. I mean, if you can hold them.
I'm serious, man.
Ooh.
I'm tired of. Look, listen to me, John. I'm tired of our fan base calling in. Like, I respect the last caller. I do. Okay. But I think he's giving Ohio State way too much love. The ESPNs and all these pundits and everybody, I think they are seriously giving Ohio State way too much, I don't see it happening, man.
You know what, though? I like it. And I also like that you're willing to put your money where your mouth is, but there's still a difference of you winning a bet and us losing by 17, right? Like you can win the bet if they cover it, it's 17, but you still don't want us to lose by 17. You know what I mean? But I respect.
No, my money going on us winning this game.
But
it's not going on any type of loss. I don't think we.
So you're not even talking about the spread. You're talking about a money line, Notre Dame winning it straight up. I respect this even more now. You're the best caller to end this show with. I love this. You ain't playing around. You're not playing around, are you? You ain't messing around. You got Notre Dame smacking them in the face and winning.
G down. I'm putting a G. Look, I'm putting a G down on my team to win. This is what's happening. We're not playing around, dude. I'm tired of this shit. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh, it's YouTube. No. It's YouTube. You could do that. You could do that on YouTube.
I'm just tired of this disrespect. I'm like, what? I mean, we're the number 5 team in the country, and they spotted us 18. It's like, okay, all right. Look, I will tell you, John. Go back and watch Jason Ademilo's interview yesterday, and it's all over his face. He feels so disrespected, and this whole defense. They're like, wow, seriously? This word? Okay, all right. Okay.
I'm gonna go look that up.
I'm tired of our fan base. I'm tired of Ohio State. Yeah, they gonna score this, or yeah, we're gonna lose, but the way we gonna lose? No, we're not losing this game. The problem after this game, here's the problem. The problem is going to be the narrative. See, it's going to go from Notre Dame don't have a chance to Ohio State. They're not what we thought they were. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that would.
the love.
But listen, that would definitely happen But I would rather that happen and we don't get credit for winning and we know it was bigger than what we get credit for than the alternative, which is to lose. And then everybody says it's new coach, same Notre Dame. So even though that would be frustrating, I would much rather have that damn problem.
Right. I feel you.
But I'm telling you, I respect
I am, John, but
I respect your boldness. I like this call. You're being bold. You ain't even talking about the spread.
Man.
You talking about winning straight up.
Look, Ohio State, okay, they're a Big Ten team, but they're the best school, they're the best program in the Big Ten. The Big Ten really isn't all that, of a conference, to be honest. We play them all. We play Pac-12, ACC, SEC, Big Ten, get others.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
They think, let me tell you something. Here's another thing. Don't let Notre Dame go to the Big Ten with all this conference realignment and all this stuff that's going on.
Yep.
Man, I mean, we'll just run it. It's ridiculous. So, Ohio State, yeah, they're good. I'm not saying they're not. Of course they are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they got the record to prove it. But
right,
their level of competition and everything hasn't been all that, to be honest.
Well,
playing the Big Ten schedule, who they're playing, Minnesota and Maryland and whatever.
Well, we're going to find out.
They really haven't had. Right.
Yeah, and then they had the bowl game against.
They haven't met anybody like us, though.
Yeah, and then they did have the bowl game against Utah, and they're a physical team, but that's last year, and there was a lot of injuries and stuff, so it's going to be interesting. But you're one of the few people that I've had come on here and straight up say, I ain't even talking about the spread. I need Notre Dame, and I expect them to go in there and play physical and win the game. And I respect you for that. And on that, you're going to be the last caller of the day. I appreciate you calling. Enjoy the game and place that bet, man. Place that bet.
Oh, it's going down. But thanks, John. I appreciate the call.
Hey, no problem. And then get back. Hey,
as well.
Listen, get back with me after the game when we do the post game on Monday or whatever, and let me know what you make of all this, and we'll talk about how this all went. Call me back.
Oh, I will.
Beautiful.
Take it easy, John.
Enjoy your day.
Congratulations on your new show and your newfound life.
I appreciate that.
Rat race and doing your own thing, man. That's really respectful, dude.
I really appreciate that. This is where my heart is. This is where my passion is, and I'm going to grow it and make it work. So I appreciate you helping that along.
You're the perfect Irishman, dude. I swear to God. I can see you in one of those Irish uniforms.
Yeah, I'm a little leprechaun. I'm a little leprechaun at heart, man. But thanks for the call.
Man, you got it.
Enjoy the game. Take care.
Well, keep it up, John. I really appreciate your show.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you. Jacob, that's a good call. Jacob Saylor, $5. Love this show, John. Ryan Day's worried about our defense. I want to see Foskey put Stroud all over the dirt over and over. Gonna need it. You want to see it. You need to see it. It isn't a want. It's a need. Or it is a want, but it's a want and a need. Okay. Your best chance here is for the Notre Dame defense to turn into the Michigan defense and the way that they beat this team last year, which was being very physical up front, knocking Stroud around, not giving those receivers the time to go get behind the defense and do all that. Here's the other thing I need to see. Foskey's Foskey, and I know Foskey's Foskey, and I know what I'm going to get out of Foskey. I need Foskey to be Foskey, and then I need one or two other guys to step in at the same time and do Foskey-ish type activities. That's how you beat this Ohio State team. I need the Notre Dame guys I already know are good to be good, and I need the guys that I'm not expecting to be great to be good too. That's how I think Notre Dame beats this team. You get the production out of the guys you know are going to produce, and then you get extra from some surprises. That's how you end up with the team out of week one, and you end up leaving it thinking they could be better than you thought they were entering week one. That's what I need to see. Chris, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised with a 3 to 10 point loss at OSU. but I also wouldn't be surprised if we outright win. I have a good feeling. It's easy to have good feelings when things are fresh and new and modern, and you're comfortable with the vibe and you like the vibe and you feel that the vibe's healthier. You feel like the program's healthier. You feel more comfort with the lead guy in charge. All of that contributes to my feelings of feeling a little better about things. We're going to end the show today on this, and I've said it before, okay? Under Kelly, this game would have been chalked up as a loss to me. It just would. It would just be chalked up as a loss because it's Kelly in a big game, and I just know that that ain't going to work. Now is something different. I expect the Notre Dame program to operate with a different vibe now, a different mentality, a different way of carrying themselves, a different mindset. Those are all things unlike some of the roster issues. Everything I just stated, you could see week one. You can see that intensity and know right away that this is the way it's going to be today and it's going to be different, and others that aren't. So that's just the way it's going to be. And I don't know how it's going to go, but I can't wait. People are in the chat saying people are degenerate. Like, how could you think Notre Dame's going to win? Like, they have no chance. They definitely have a chance. Just have to do things the right way. Chris, we're going to end on this. 199. Kelly would say we didn't prepare well. And let me ask this rhetorical question. Whose fault is that? The Bayou Bengal Swamp Thing himself. Now, we're going to have some more programming, maybe post something tomorrow for sure. Going to do an interview with USA Today tonight. That'll probably get posted tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to post my own little non-live stream preview of the game. And then we're going to do live streams Friday and Saturday as well. Thank you for being here, everybody. This went great. It's going to get better the longer we go. Saturday's show should be wild. Everybody's going to be cranked up. And the old coffee might turn into Guinness that day. So stay tuned. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thanks for live streaming. Thanks for donating. Thanks for typing. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.